All right. What's up, everyone? We're back with another Loners. Hope y'all are doing well. Thank you guys for tuning in. I just want to say, if you haven't, jump over to our vlog channel, check out our videos. We'll have more coming up soon for you.
Yes.
This is episode number 106, I believe.
Nice.
Roll that intro. All right. So I wanted to ask you guys if you guys have seen the new, it's like he's gone viral pretty much, but he's like this country singer called Oliver Anthony.
Called name?
That's not his real name.
Oh, it's not?
No, so that's actually, he going after his grandfather's name, like in memory of his grandfather.
Oh,
Because that's his grandfather's name. His name is like some other name.
Okay.
And if you haven't, you should definitely go check out. There's like 2 famous songs on YouTube right now, but most of his songs are really good. But it's called Rich Men North of Richmond and I Want to Go Home. Amazing voice and really good lyrics.
I agree.
Yeah, and he just came out on Joe Rogan too yesterday. Like, that was quick, man, to get on Joe Rogan.
I mean, he mentioned him. I saw a clip of him mentioning him.
I saw that too.
And then I can't imagine it's hard for him to get guests on his show.
No.
Yeah, for the most part.
Especially if someone's like up and coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely go check out his music. I think you guys will like it. I don't even know. I feel like it's hard not to like it, even if you don't like country, because I don't even like country, but I like it. All right. So today we're going to do a video called What's Something Europe Has Changed in Your Mind as an American? It's one of those like TikTok compilations videos. And let's check it out.
Americans who've been to or traveled to Europe, what's something Europe has changed in your mind that now you can't let go?
Just the way that people talk here in America, so loud, so shiny. And the way they think it's better to have a big smile on their face than to have their natural facial expression. People in Vienna don't tolerate that.
Wait, I feel like a lot of people, I guess it depends where you're at, because when we go to smaller towns, like in smaller states, people are smiling more. But and here in LA, people, I mean, there are people smiling, but it's not like all over the place.
I think it's very hit or miss here.
Yeah.
I think people are either smiling all the time or they're not. And that's
Or they don't even look at you, yeah.
Yeah.
Spent 7 weeks in Iceland, and I learned that according to Icelandic politics, Bernie Sanders is considered far right.
Okay, so I only found out.
I don't think he would be considered far right.
Wait, I'm sorry. She said
To Icelandic politics, he would be considered far right.
I think she's being a little extreme, but I think I get what
Oh.
she's saying. She's saying,
compared to them.
yeah, she's saying like even someone that we think is very progressive is still considered like a Republican.
Got
in
it.
our eyes.
Got it. That's wild. Yeah. I believe that in certain countries like that. Like I know it's not Iceland, but Finland, they're really fucking doing stuff to get rid of, like, to fix homelessness.
Yeah, don't even get me started on that.
Yeah.
It actually makes me so angry the way we handle like
Yeah.
homeless people here.
I mean, we do have a lot more people, but there's still, I think there's ways we can fix it. But yeah.
Okay, so I only found out about this recently, and it kind of blew my mind. But I watched a TikTok of a lady who worked on a farm, and she basically went on to say, like grocery stores and stuff like that hold auctions. And in these auctions, they sell off near expired or expired food stock that they can't sell to us and we're not going to buy or eat. And they sell it to farmers. And farmers use it to feed their livestock. So what that basically means is the same processed garbage that we eat from grocery stores every day is being fed to livestock
No way.
to keep them sustained with, a few pieces of carrot and apple chopped up into it. Like, there were Ritz crackers in this trough of food that they were gonna Ritz crackers, bro.
I thought he meant like produce and stuff.
No, he's talking about like the...
Sorry, I was like zoned out for half a second and I think I completely missed his point.
So he's saying that there's auctions that grocery stores, like I think with like the meat and other stuff that's about to be near expired, they sell
Wow.
it back to the farmers to feed to the livestock.
I'm thinking produce. I'm not thinking processed food.
Yeah,
That's
processed.
disgusting.
That's...
I am so glad you asked. Healthcare.
Yeah.
And I'm not referring to universal healthcare, although that is a great perk. I am talking about the level or standard of care that you receive as a patient. For example, I sprained my wrist while snowboarding. And although there was a language barrier, they x-rayed, splinted, wrapped, dressed, did everything that they could to make sure that my wrist was going to heal properly. And went into detail about what was happening to my body and how I could aid my body in its healing process. Again, language barrier, but they really did try. When I broke these same wrists in the United States a few years later, I was told to ice, elevate, and it would be in a cast for 6 to 7 weeks. I was only in it for 5 weeks, though. Then, when I got my cast off, I was very likely going to need physical therapy for my mobility. However, I was told by the PA that I won't need physical therapy because my wrist can bend enough.
Living in Europe for the last couple of years has taught me more than anything that the propaganda surrounding the United States being the best country on earth does one of two things. It either makes you complacent in being taken advantage of by the oligarchs, or it villainizes you for speaking out against your exploitation.
I like how she worded that. That is so
Yeah.
true. It makes us complacent. It makes us feel like we are living way above
Yeah.
how the rest of the world is. We know we're not. Yeah, it makes you feel like it doesn't get better than this. We don't feel this way now. We haven't for a long time. We know we can see through the smoke and mirrors, but
There's a lot of people who still think like this.
you grow up that way, and until you do your
Own research.
Yeah, unless you take it upon yourself to question anything, I mean, you're gonna still think that way.
What's that saying? If you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything.
Your exploitation. But walking around saying you're the best country on earth does nothing to improve the country itself. But saying that you're the best country on earth really helps keep those who are in power,
Yeah.
and those voices who are suppressed continue to be suppressed.
Well, I won't go bankrupt if I get sick in Europe, and I won't be poisoned by that country's food supply. I won't be subjected to laws and policies that harm marginalized groups. I won't live under a rapidly deteriorating political environment that's slowly stripping away your personal freedoms and rights. I won't be force-fed somebody else's religious beliefs when I may think something differently. I can actually walk outside and breathe clean air. I can see people having access to free education, so they're a smarter society, a healthier society. And finally, I can feel like I'm part of something bigger, like being in a community where people actually give a shit about one another.
That was well said.
I like her story.
All right, guys, we're starting a GoFundMe so we can go move to Europe. Just so, drop a little in the... We'll leave a Venmo link. No, I'm just kidding, guys.
Sorry, I just remembered that yesterday Mitch McConnell froze again.
Oh, my God. If you guys know who Mitch McConnell is, he's a senator here in the United States. He literally, I'm not trying to make fun of him because I think it's
You can make fun of
it's
him.
a serious matter, I think, with his brain.
But he's choosing to do this to himself.
He literally froze for 30 seconds and they had to walk him off the stand.
This man is not even able to function any longer,
Dude.
physically and mentally. And yet we're still excusing this and allowing him to have any say in anything that happens in this country, which makes no sense. He literally looks like, if you've seen SpongeBob, when they're selling chocolates and the old lady goes to her even older mother in the wheelchair.
You
He's
want
like,
some
"I want
chocolates?"
some chocolates. Yeah, he looks like the one in the wheelchair.
Oh, man.
Who's like, what?
We need younger people, I think. And I know that you can still get younger people that are corrupt, but we just need younger people in power to give some perspective
We need
of what the younger people need.
We need people who are relatable, who have
Yeah.
gone through what
Yep.
most Americans have gone through,
Yeah.
the same hardships. And that's it. But that's not what we have in office. So
It might happen, but it's going to take a while because they all just sit there in their terms for as long as they can live.
I don't think
pretty
it's going to happen in our lifetime, if
Yeah.
I'm being honest. I'm
Probably
not trying
not.
to be negative, but
I know there's other countries too that have bad political things, and not everything she said right now is actually for every country, but I know there are a lot of top European countries that are like that.
right.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to say the food, and you're not wrong, because America's food is so much more processed. It takes 2 months for your stomach to actually acclimate back to all of that. So for the first 2 months, you're going to probably be sick. But something I really realized after talking to a lot of people from Europe is that, unlike Americans, their job isn't their main source of pride. In America, we tend to really boast about how many hours we're putting into the grind of our job. Whereas in Europe, they don't really tend to do that. Not to say that they're not proud of what they do for work, But they tend to have a lot of different things that they're more proud of than how long they work and where they work for so long. I'm not saying that culture is not shifting, especially with millennials and Gen Z and Alpha. But it's definitely something I noticed and definitely something I wanted to change.
Yeah.
The fact that I quite literally need an insurance for everything where I live. So for those of you who don't know, I am a U.S. American, originally from Atlanta, Georgia, and I now live in the Nuremberg area in Bavaria, Germany.
Wow.
I had no idea that certain types of insurances in other parts of the world existed. In the United States, I guarantee you, more people have car insurance than have health insurance.
Yeah.
And here, I've got health insurance, car insurance, personal liability insurance as a self-employed individual, legal insurance as a self-employed individual, accident insurance, I'm no longer able to work insurance, retirement insurance, private retirement insurance, almost forgot about dental, homeowners insurance. What should I insure next?
We always talk shit about the state.
He should have said how much he pays for all that. I'm sure it's still cheaper than.
Well, I think the point is why is everything insurable? You know, and they it's a scam to me. I feel.
Well,
like.
he said he has insurance on everything there in Germany.
But under one
plan.
It's still ridiculous. Like, why do you need all this insurance? Like, separate. It should just be like one or two different types of insurance.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
To me, health insurance should include your dental too.
Yeah.
Because that's still your body.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Anywhere. It shouldn't be so divided.
So you're saying you should be able to get like one package for like everything?
Yeah, and there should just be like human insurance.
Yeah.
Life,
literally life insurance, but it just
Literally.
includes everything that you would need in life. Yeah.
Which I still need to do more research on life insurance because apparently you're supposed to spend it while you're alive. It's not supposed to be for when you're dead.
I heard something like that too.
But I've always been sold that it's for your loved ones
when you pass.
die.
Yeah, that's what we've been told too.
So I don't know. I need to learn more about that.
Someone who is American, you are always seeing like the cons about being an American and living in the States. But one thing that I learned that was like a lot of good things, and I felt lucky to be living in the States, was from Italy. I lived in Italy for about 6 months. And I have realized that as a young person, if you have the spirit of an entrepreneur and you're not 50 years old, it is so hard for you to get the resources and the credibility to just do it. Additionally, it's not as easy to fail and just open another startup the way it is here in California and Silicon Valley. And that, like, learning from failure came from the States. So it made me realize I feel really lucky to be a young person who has aspirations and who has an American passport.
I need to re-listen to her thing because
She was just saying it's easier to just keep failing and starting over businesses here in America than over there.
You think? Do you agree with that? Like
maybe at one point,
maybe
but
mentally, but financially, I would not say that.
I think maybe at one point in time, but now I don't. Unless you have a lot of money, like if she has like a.
Well, she's making it sound like you can go out, get a fucking business loan, fail at it, and then just pick it up again and go do it again in another way. And it's like, no, you can't.
To me, it sounds like the way she's presenting it is she has like a lot of either backing or like just resources to, to keep trying.
I didn't fully soak in what her message was.
She just said like in Italy, it didn't seem like, unless you're like 50 years old or something, like it's very hard to have an entrepreneurial spirit and to keep failing and trying again.
Well, yeah, we definitely encourage people to like hustle, like to grind.
Yeah.
But at what expense? Like you're not going out and you're not handed a business tomorrow. Like that's just not how it works.
And I think that's globally. Like globally, there's entrepreneurs in every country, I think.
No, there totally is. But here I will say yes, they do. I'm not going to say they encourage you to be an entrepreneur because that's not at all what it is. But they encourage you to keep working, to hustle, like I just said.
Yeah.
So
it's probably a little different over there. They want to, I'm not saying lazy, but they want to just live life a little more and relax. And
it seems like it's easier to do that over there. That's why. I'm going to be real with you. If it was easy to do that here,
more people would
I
probably be
wouldn't.
chilling.
Yeah, I would be too. I wouldn't be like, no, I need to start a business and I need this and
Yeah,
that.
you just be more content with life a
People
little
start
bit.
businesses here because they don't want to work and be exploited by corporations. That's why.
Well,
They
our
don't-
country is pretty much a corporation.
That's what I'm
why.
saying.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's why people start businesses, and that's why people like,
Mm-hmm.
risk a lot.
To break out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I misunderstood her, but it's not like as easy as failing and restarting again with a whole new idea.
Well, what she said specifically, like that costs a lot of money.
It does. So unless you're okay filing bankruptcy because you
Yeah.
can't pay a loan back, or you have like an abundance of money to pay a loan back, or to
Keep starting over again with
Yeah,
something that
like,
expensive.
I
Yeah.
have a feeling I kind of misunderstood her because I feel like she wasn't talking in order the way she meant it. But I took a Benadryl last night, so I'm a little loopy right now because I've been very sick.
No, she was saying it like that. She's like, like tech startups, how they can keep failing and starting over and failing and starting over. But again, that's like a endless pit of money that you have to fucking do
Or
that.
investors. And,
Yeah.
And eventually you lose credibility if
Yeah.
you're not.
Because if
Anyway.
you're trying to build something and not having a lot of money, it's so difficult still.
But yes,
That-
I will say they do encourage the spirit of like, go out there and, get that bag.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway.
The main thing that opened my eyes when I went to Europe, and this was when I was a teenager. I went to France. I've been to France twice, and I've been to England, and I've been to Austria. The main thing that I noticed was the food. Even though that food is super rich, I still lost weight because there aren't the additives that we add in our food are banned over there. So even if you eat more than you would have ever eaten over here,
Yeah.
over there, you still will lose weight because a lot of their food isn't modified. And on top of that, how they price their food is different. Like it's the opposite of what we do over here. So that was a big eye opener for me in particular.
I got tagged in this.
A lot of people say that it's because you walk a lot more in Europe, so you're not actually like losing weight from the,
Yeah.
non-additives or whatever. I will say I did notice that first off, the food just tastes better. Like you can tell it just tastes cleaner. It does. You don't. You could just tell it tastes way more fresh.
It's fresh, yeah.
But I will say I feel like my food digests quicker
Over there. Yeah.
than here.
I know in Italy we ate a ton of like carbs, but it wasn't like I didn't get bloated or feel like.
Yeah. Again,
We
were
did
on our
walk a
feet
lot,
but
yeah.
still, like, I still think that not adding disgusting chemicals
yeah.
and stuff played a decent part.
100%.
I've seen this woman on TikTok before.
Several times, so here we go. For context, I am from Texas, but I live in Germany. So we live in the country.
Nice.
Like, I'm a country gal now. Very tiny village. Lots of livestock, cornfields, like country. And anyways, there are trails everywhere. We can walk out of our house and there are trails in every direction for miles. You can just hop on a trail and bike and walk to the next town. A lot of these trails go through people's property. It's their farmland, like they own it, and I'm walking through it. When we first got here, there were so many times where I thought, okay, I'm not supposed to be here and I'm going to get SHOT. Because if you're walking through or stumble upon somebody's property in Texas,
Yeah.
you better be careful. Here, that is completely normal, and it took me a solid year to get used to. And not very many people own guns, so.
Yeah, that is very true. We have. Well, I'm from Texas, and we have dealt with that. Like when we were just exploring and stuff. Like people get pissed, and they do have guns, and like we're literally because they're always thinking like, "What are you doing on my property? Like you're gonna like try to steal something, or you're gonna do something like vandalize it." But
Yeah,
we were
people
just
live in this-
exploring.
People live in this weird state of fear here, especially in the South and like Midwest, where they think like,
Everyone's out to get them.
yeah, they just think somebody one day is just gonna come to their doorstep and like challenge them, you know? And it's just like nobody cares about you that much, I promise you.
Fucking-
But guns are an issue, huge. Okay.
So my answer
What?
is security. You feel so much safer in Switzerland. I live in Switzerland. I've been here about almost 7 years this year, and we just don't have the same security concerns. My 4-year-old walks to preschool by himself. He knows how to cross the street.
4-year-old?
And everything. You don't have kids getting yelled, like snatched up. And my example was going to be that people literally leave their strollers outside of stores, and there's a stroller behind me that was parked there while the parent went in to buy baked goods.
This is something that would take me actual years to
get used to.
Yeah, especially children walking alone.
100%.
I see a child alone here,
and I'm like, where's your parents?
I'm ready to call somebody and be like, yo, find this kid's parents.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it's just
that
ingrained in our brain that there's predators out there and things like that.
That's insane though. Imagine not even thinking about that.
I mean, that's a beautiful life to live that way, not to stress about that.
I did hear Switzerland is like one of the most expensive places in Europe though.
Yeah, I mean, it seems worth it if your child is safe.
Yeah.
People do here, and my list could go on. Safety, security, cleanliness, education.
Like you're like paying for peace of mind.
Yeah.
I think that's
geography. It's a long list. I mean, I definitely want to move back to the US one day, but with kids, it definitely feels better in Europe, right?
I could write a novel about my experiences, but I'm going to talk about one specifically. I went to Finland back in December and decided to take the bus across town. I was horrified when I saw these very, very small children get on the bus completely by themselves. They were probably like 7 and 5 years old. My first thought was they're lost. They lost their parents. They're in danger. They need help. But they were totally fine. They were carrying sleds. They were laughing. They were joking around. And then they got off the bus. And it's because Finland is one of the safest countries in the world. Parents there are not worried about their children getting kidnapped or anything bad happening to them, really, because it's very rare. I know a parent in the state of New York who got charged with child abuse for letting their 10-year-old kid ride the New York City subway by themselves. Meanwhile, me as a black woman, if I decide to have a child, obviously they're going to be black. There's going to come a day where I have to explain to them that it's not okay for them to sit outside and play with their toys because they could get shot by the police. That's the US for you.
That's true. I mean, there's been a multiple amount of black kids who have gotten killed by cops because they think they think they have weapons when they're literally playing with toys.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
You know, I don't think all police are bad, but I think that the ones who abuse their power ruin the trust for all of them.
Okay, I'm just gonna I hate when I hate when people speak that way because it's like any profession you don't get a pass.
I'm not saying they get a pass.
No, but I just feel like you can't go to a job and be like, you know, not everyone here is great, but they do the best they can. It's like, no, you don't get that luxury at most jobs.
Yeah.
And especially when your one and only job literally is to protect people and you aren't doing that.
Yeah.
But
then you also have to, you can't discredit the maybe, 1 or 2% of them that are really good.
I mean, I just can't imagine somebody's in this day and age is, I guess, not aware enough the institution they are signing up for.
Yeah, 100%.
And aren't I feel like it's less likely that that person is a good, genuine is there for the right reasons and
to try to make it better.
I'm sorry, I don't I see these people signing up for this, whether they admit it or not. You could be a great parent, you could be a great person, whatever, but I feel like deep down there's a sense of power, control, and authority that is feeding you more than protecting people.
Well, babe,
I just don't see that.
Look at the example, we were talking about it yesterday. Look at AOC in politics.
Yeah.
She's like the one black sheep that is actually trying to do good.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Hopefully.
So it's like that. It's kind of like that. She actually went into politics probably to try to change things and make it better.
Right.
But she's like the one, or not. There's more. I'm sure there's a few more. But I mean, that's like what I mean. There's that
You're
very
saying
small
there's a-
percentage
yeah.
that actually want to do better.
But once you're in it and you see behind the scenes and see what that you actually stands for, at least here, like, I feel like I've said this already. I've had multiple interactions with cops for reasons that I have no one to turn to, and they literally might as well laugh in your face. Like, a lot of them do not give a fuck. And look at me. Look at my skin color, okay?
Yeah.
I can't imagine being a minority in this country and needing help from a cop. Cannot imagine that. Now, I'm not saying they go home and beat their wives and this and that. Like, I know that there is a lot of good people that choose that field, but I don't think that I don't think deep down, deep down, they don't get gratification from that, like,
having the power,
authority.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I
think majority of them.
It's difficult for me to believe that.
I think like 95% of them do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I still think there's a small percent that are just like trying to do good. There has to be.
Cops don't even get paid that well, so
That's what
it's
I'm
not
saying.
even like it's worth it. Like, you can't even say they're doing it for the money at some point.
Yeah.
Like a cop that's in the field. I'm not talking about, like a detective that's like
Behind the desk, or not even behind the desk, but yeah, I get what you're saying. But yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
At least that's how I feel about cops out here.
Maybe police in other countries.
I just don't respect most of them as workers, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the police in other countries, it looks different. We watched that video of the police in the UK.
I think that we couldn't post that.
Yeah, we couldn't, but I'm saying like we saw an example of how they conducted themselves, and they're different.
Yeah.
Obviously, because they don't
it's just a different lifestyle.
Yeah, they don't feed on like aggressiveness. They don't have to be aggressive as much because they're not as afraid of someone with a gun coming at them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just very difficult for me to buy the, like,
I'm trying to do the right thing.
Like, it's just so difficult for me to buy that here because the only time you really see cops like doing something dangerous, it's, never mind, I'm gonna shut up.
I mean, I'm just going off of
Linda.
like, I've seen some examples online of like occasions where cops are doing really good things, but I don't know if it's just like for the show of being online. I don't know.
I'm not sitting here saying like everyone out here as a cop is evil and excuse me. That's not what I'm saying. I just know that I see between the lines. I don't think you're doing it for the right reasons, period. Now, are you going to every day go out there and like look for some beef with somebody? No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But am I buying that like you truly just care about your city and want to protect it and help people out? No, I'm not buying that either.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, it's just that it's become hard to trust.
There's a lot of white supremacy.
Yeah. It's become hard to trust people in power in this country a lot in general.
Yeah, it is. And
but I know it's in other countries too. But I think like, I don't know.
Sorry, and like I was saying, there's a lot of white supremacy
within the police force. Yeah,
a lot. And I know there's cliques, there's things like that. Like there's literal gangs in cops. In
the police forces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did I say that?
I know, but
anyway, that's just how I feel about at least in America or my experience out here.
Give us your opinion about like where you're from, like the police force and just people in power there too. Leave it in the comments. But if you like this video, like and subscribe. All right, jump over to the blog channel. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Peace.
Bye.